What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Men's Physique podcast. My name is Don Lamb.
And I'm Victor, and we're two guys who are passionate about everything men's physique, and we want to shine some light on the division that's given so much to us.
There's so many podcasts out there that are covering bodybuilding, but no one is really talking about the men's physique division. And we wanted to create a space where we could bring on top athletes, coaches, experts in the field to share more knowledge so that you guys can use this podcast as a resource, but also just to talk everything about men's physique because we're so passionate about this division.
And before we dive into everything, let's just introduce ourselves. So I'm gonna let Don talk about his journey into men's physique and bodybuilding.
Men's physique was the entire reason that I got into competing in the first place. At the time, I was already working out for about 6 years, but I was never interested in stepping on stage because I didn't think the bodybuilding look was attainable for myself until I started following guys like Steve Cook. In 2013, there was three guys local at our gym that competed in a natural regional show called Western Canadians. Once I saw these guys compete, I was really inspired to think about competing. I really liked the look of men's physique. I was always inspired by those sort of physiques looking through the magazines. So eventually I decided to compete in my very first show in 2014. And I actually competed in the same show that the guys did the year earlier. I ended up taking first place in my class. I had an amazing experience and it really changed everything for me. Once I did my first show, people started reaching out for coaching, and that's when I started to take on clients. The following year in 2015, I actually prepped my first men's physique athlete, and that got me thinking about doing this full time. A couple years went by, and I decided, you know, I'm pretty young right now. I don't have a lot of responsibilities or obligations. And I thought, hey, if I want to make this a career, why not give it a go? So I decided to leave my full-time corporate job and take a chance on coaching full-time. I'm very blessed to be in a community where there wasn't a lot of competition and no one was really doing online coaching at the time. So I had the first movers advantage. Now there's 9 other coaches that work for DIY Body. We have over 600 clients worldwide. So that's my story. How did you get into competing and what interested you in men's physique?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just share my screen and show you some photos along with the story of how I got into men's physique. For me, I was always very fit, very athletic. I played a lot of sports in high school, but my parents never really let me sign up for a gym membership. So the way I got by was doing calisthenics at the beach. And I was watching lots of YouTubers like Bradley Martin, Frank Pedrano, those types of guys. I was still very fit. Like this was me when I was 15, just doing push-ups, doing sports, track and field, 17 here. This is me 2018 when I was doing a lot more calisthenics at the beach. But when I first went to university, my first year of university, that's when I started actually going to the gym. So this is like
Was
my
that
first
like your
experience
first
in the
year of
gym.
lifting in a gym?
Yeah, this wasn't even like 1 year into working out. This was like half a year because I started at like September 2018. So this was like half a year into working out at my school gym. And 2019 was kind of the year that Chris Bumstead had his breakout where he was starting to become really famous. And Chris Bumstead's actually from Ottawa. And I went to school in Ottawa. I went to U Ottawa. And so I started seeing a lot more Chris Bumstead, and that kind of introduced me to the world of bodybuilding. So from there, I started seeing men's physique competitors, and I was thinking to myself that I actually prefer the men's physique look because it's more aesthetic, more attainable. It's just something that I aspire to look like in my own physique. So in 2019, I actually signed up with the CPA in hopes of doing my first show in Barrie. But actually, this year was, I think COVID got in the way, and I wasn't actually able to compete for this one. So, or is it 2020? No, I think it was 2020 that COVID came by and I couldn't compete. So from here, 2020, and then this is when you can see like the COVID mask and everything. But this whole time I'm posing like a men's physique guy. I just always wanted to do it. And in 2022, around December, I started working with my coach Bobby. He actually came up to me in the gym and thought I had a lot of potential. He thought I was already competing. And from there, he was helping me practice my posing. He was teaching me how to do the front pose and back pose. And we got really into men's physique, and he offered to coach me. And from there, we did my first show in 2023. In 2023, that was me in the red shorts. We did Ottawa in June 2023. I ended up finishing second in my class, which to most people would be like, great, your first show you came second. But for me, it was actually like a hard pill to swallow because I had this expectation that I was going to win the whole show. You have like all your friends and family, they don't really know the sport, but they're like, you look amazing, you're going to win. And if you have like 50 people telling you you're going to win, and then you're prepping for like 20 weeks with this thought in your head, you're going to win, and then you don't, then it ends up feeling like you wasted all that time when in reality it's not about the placement, it's about the person you're becoming through the journey. And it isn't just going to happen on the first run for most people. You're not going to
Hmm.
get the win on the first run. You're actually going to lose more times than you win. So yeah, that was a hard pill to swallow, but I used it as fuel. I did my off season. I already selected a show right after I lost. I picked the show King Kong in November, and that was like at least 70 weeks in between. And I started counting at like 65 weeks out. I'm doing King Kong, did an off season with that goal in my mind. And then, yeah, so King Kong was this photo on the right in 2024, November 2024. And yeah, it definitely paid off to do a long off season, come back stronger. Like I was qualified for nationals here. I could have done nationals in my first year, but I said, I'm just gonna sit down, spend more time growing. In my opinion, like I wasn't worthy of going to nationals yet. Yeah, you might be nationally qualified, but are you qualified to be at nationals? Took time off, not really off, but we were like in an improvement season, and then grew into it, prep for King Kong, and I ended up winning my class and then winning the overall as well at King Kong, which qualified me for the next year's nationals, which was on my timeline as well to do 2025 nationals. Here's me at 2025 nationals. I came top five in my class, which was a huge class. It was 18 competitors. That was a very stacked class. So to come top five, I was pretty happy with it. Like my coach and I had in mind, like our goal was get the first call out, and top five would be like the cherry on top. I think the biggest thing that switched in my head for off season is I don't really think about it like off season is not me turning it off. It's just turning the dial a little bit down, but
Yeah.
I'm still on and I've got a goal. I've got this show in mind. Like as long as I have something in mind, then I can kind of chase after it. But if I don't pick that show after it, or I don't have an idea of what show I'm going to do, it's really hard for me to stay motivated or on track. So my plan right now is kind of just take a longer time to build. If you're natural and you're consistently doing shows every year, if you do a show every year and you're prepping for, let's say, 4 months a year, that's 4 months that you're not getting better. You're,
Hmm.
I, at best case scenario, you're holding on to your muscle, but if you're somebody who needs to put on like muscle or change your physique in a certain way, if it's not just a peaking thing or a posing thing, if you actually need more tissue, then you need to take that time and grow, especially when you're natural.
I love hearing stories like this, and everybody has a different journey to the stage. And I think being able to pull certain things out from everybody's journey is going to be able to give back to the community and just be a really good resource for anyone that's aspiring to step on stage in men's physique or already competing and maybe you just pick up some new strategies or tips?
Yeah, I think we're able to provide a lot of value here, whether it be like interviewing high-level athletes or critiquing physiques or your posing, etc. Just covering men's physique in general. I think a lot of amateurs could definitely gain some perspective from us.
And we're also going to be doing show recaps for you guys. Shows that are happening in Canada and the US, regional shows in Canada, both natural and in the open stream. And then also the pro qualifiers that happen every single year. Also the US pro qualifiers, because there's a handful of them down there. And then we're also going to be recapping and giving you guys our predictions for big shows like the Arnold and the Olympia. So that's going to be in an episode that is coming up here. And we just want to give you guys all the knowledge that we possibly can, everything from training to nutrition to posing, peaking, and mindset. We want to be able to do that with bringing on guests to the podcast.
So next episode, we'll be breaking down Canadian Nationals, and we're going to talk to some of the winners and coaches, break down what made those physiques stand out, and then give you our official men's physique Olympia predictions.
Then once the Olympia wraps up, we're going to do a full recap. We're going to talk about who nailed it, guys that got overlooked, and what we think this means for the future of the men's physique division. So keep your guys' eyes out for the next episode.
If you're a men's physique competitor, coach, or fan, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this podcast if you found it valuable.
And if you guys are an athlete looking for coaching, shoot us a message on Instagram at Men's Physique Podcast, and we'll be happy to take a look and see if we can help. Take care, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace.